Good morning.
Good morning. It's Friday.
Happy Friday.
You too. You got big plans for the weekend?
Yes.
Hot date this weekend.
You know it. You just wait. Oh, we made it. We did it.
We did.
Another week.
We did. We're back in the chairs, and we are ready to go on this Friday episode of The Morning Share.
Yeah, we are.
So what have we been talking about this week, Dee?
This week, we've been asking, and I hope you guys have been asking too, who am I? Really thinking about authenticity, living from a place of congruence. And what else did we talk about this week?
We talked about the differences in roles versus identity. Roles is what we do. Identity is who we are. We also talked about where we alluded to the fact that authenticity is a cornerstone for wholeness. Wholeness is a big word that we will continually, hopefully, filter everything through here on the Morning Share to create space for us to cultivate a sense of wholeness. We discussed also self-awareness and self-discovery in the pursuit of authenticity and what that looks like.
That's really where it starts. And then you said a phrase I thought was so good about just a good check-in, like when you're in a space where maybe you're feeling off. What was that question?
Can I be true to myself in this space? And I think the biggest way you can know that is how does your body feel? And I feel like we have not spent enough time understanding how our bodies really give us such great clues.
Yes.
To how we're actually feeling. We talked about, I have a granddaughter who just turned 3. And already she goes into spaces and her parents don't make her hug everybody. If someone asks for a hug and she doesn't feel in that moment like she wants to give them a hug, that's okay. We respect her boundaries at that point because I think that's her in that moment at 3 years old being true to herself for whatever reason. And so we respect that.
Yes.
And so I think somewhere along the line in our journey to adulthood, we surrendered that intuition in of ourselves. And so
what'd you say, especially as women?
Oh, absolutely.
We're taught to suppress that voice.
Yeah, and not trust ourselves. We're taught to perform for other people in a space. I think that's definitely something to ask yourself, to check into yourself and use a little bit as a question for your own self to gain understanding and a center in a moment.
Yes. And how cool if, as a generation of women, we can begin to implement and nurture that in girls as they grow older, to trust that voice inside of them.
Absolutely. And then we also raise men and boys to respect when a woman feels uncomfortable. You think about how many women have experienced things and tried to tell somebody that makes me uncomfortable and can't always give a big, long answer to why. They just know it in themselves. It's called intuition. It's God-given. Yeah. And so we're taught to ignore that so frequently because that may not be how somebody else expects us to show up in that.
So when you think about authenticity, why should it matter? Like is this just, a conceptual thing and we want to live in alignment, but why does it matter for the guy listening who's a dad at home or a single lady or even, a teenager who's listening? Really, what are the implications for me living and showing up authentically? And how does that affect people around me in my spaces?
Yeah, that's a giant question, right? That we're still trying to understand. But I think it boils down to there's nobody on this planet that can take your place. Like you are your best you. There's nobody else who's ever existed or who will ever exist beyond you. And so you are uniquely wired. And so when you show up as someone else, if you show up as someone who is inauthentic or not true to your core of who you are, then essentially the world is missing you. And so to get to this place, it matters because the more that I can show up and be true to myself, who I am at my very core in whatever roles I play, I can still be my authentic self. It's a little bit of a litmus test that I try to use these days. As I show up in this space, can I be my full self? What I know to be true about myself, can I show up in that, even in exercising different roles? can I still be true to myself? Essentially, it all does go back to wholeness.
Yeah.
We're pursuing wholeness, and we're wanting to provide a space where others can be whole too.
Yeah. And you living in your most authentic way inspires me to begin to discover who my authentic self is. And so imagine the ripple effect that would have. And not just yes, in our small community, but even society as a whole.
Yeah.
Huge implications.
Absolutely.
If I allow others the space to be their authentic self.
And I think that's where vulnerability and authenticity kind of hold hands.
Yep.
Is in this space where to know my own self and then to put my own self out there requires vulnerability.
Yep.
And what I've learned through the years is my authentic self is rarely polished. The more authentic you are, the more you risk being misunderstood.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so I feel like once you can get over the hump of feeling like you have to be perfect or polished in this space, it immediately disarms other people who are also playing the game and actually allows them to even see ways that maybe they're not being authentic.
Yeah.
And so it's a communal effort kind of thing. And I think it does have impact far beyond what we can fathom.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. What are some resources we referred to this week?
Yep. We mentioned Eckhart Tolle and his book, and then also Ann Voskamp. So we're going to have a full list of resources in our show notes and website. So if those interest you, and we mentioned Enneagram and Myers-Briggs, all of those things we will list out for you to have as resources.
Absolutely. And it wouldn't be Friday without us asking you for your help and your participation here. We're all about participation.
Yep.
And so this weekend, we wanted to see if you consider noticing some area in your life, maybe where you're showing up kind of on autopilot, where you're kind of performing a little bit roles and ways that you have always done. And just see if you can, in that moment, practice kind of like, whoa, am I being true to myself? What I know to be true about myself? Or am I just operating out of roles at this point? Am I leaning heavily on my roles to define who I am?
Yeah.
So that'd be one for sure practice. And then let us know how it goes.
Yes.
We'd love to hear about it.
Oh, here's another thing we wanted to ask your help with. We mentioned the note card exercise that we did with a small group of women. That was really something that was very beneficial to us. So we want to challenge you to do the same thing with whoever sits at your table or in your sphere at work, and do that note card exercise.
Yeah.
And then, Ange had this great idea about the people that are around you that you know some of their core truths or characteristics about. Just give them a note card. Like maybe you can't do the whole exercise, but you could pass out a note card that just says, hey, I see this in you. Something that's core to them, and that will help begin to awaken that in them.
Yeah. Even with your kiddos, we were talking about that.
Yes.
I mean, what an impact for your kiddos. Just a simple note that says, I see you being blank. And I think this kind of begins to awaken some core truths and some authentic behavior, and them begin to know who they are.
Yes.
At their core.
I think about, especially in this recent journey of mine to discover who I am, the most special moments have been when someone sees something in me and validates it. And, you've even seen things in me that maybe I don't see. And so to have that, someone speak into you and say, I see this in you, just does such a wonderful thing.
You've got liturgy this morning for the first time on a Friday. This is something we practice in our community frequently. Somebody offers up either written liturgy or something we found that was meaningful and helpful to us. And so Dee's going to share that with us today.
Yeah. Every person you meet has a heartbeat, a story, and is loved by their Creator. The more we know ourselves, the more we can truly know and love others. What a better way to be human than to know yourself in order to know others. We quit shaming. We quit labeling. We quit killing. We start listening. We start seeing. We start loving.